All right. So, ended up being kind of a trash week for me trading, simply because today I gave back pretty much everything I made for the week, which is obviously no good. And that happened for a couple reasons. One, I broke a couple of my rules, and I had a position on Square, and I'd been in and out of Square several times. Oh, I already deleted all my drawings. So I've been in and out of Square several times in the last few days. I kind of the first day I bought it was this day pre-market, and ended up selling it later in the day because it ran so much. Then I bought it back this day pre-market, sold it the next day at the open, and then I bought it back again here, sold it again the next day at the open. Well, then today, the day after that, I was feeling fairly confident because each of these times I was only taking like between 50 and 100 shares, so like pretty small position. But they still turned out pretty well because I mean every one of these handles, as you can see over here, every one of these handles is a whole dollar. So it's like even with 50 shares, it was like, let's see, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400. You know, it's like each of those trades, I think the lowest one was about $350 and the highest one was just shy of 500. So it's like I had a few good profitable trades. Well, then I see it kind of break this area here. You can see these couple lows right here and right here. And it broke there. Well, right there the other day. Let's go to the 1 minute. So yesterday, I started buying as it broke that area. And then it went down some more. And I was red on it for a while and I got nervous. So I averaged down. And I ended up having 125 shares, which more than double the position, a couple of the positions I had before. And then today, this morning pre-market, so my average was just over 230. I think it was like yeah, it was like right in this range. I wish I wouldn't have deleted my drawings. I got pissed because I lost money and I was like, fuck this. And I deleted my like all the price levels and shit that I had drawn out. But yeah, so my cost basis was like right in here. And pre-market, I was actually up a little bit. And watching the tape and like a lot of days in the pre-market, we had a few up bars right before the open. And in here, it seemed kind of flat. And Fridays for a lot of stocks are, you know, lower volumes, not quite as much buying. So I felt kind of nervous, but I didn't let it go because I think some of it was kind of a greed, you know, kind of a almost like a FOMO. I was like every day so far. If I go back to the 5 day, 5 minute, every day so far that I bought it, it popped out of the open, popped this day 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 out of the open, and it gave me an opportunity to sell on that pop. So I thought that was going to happen, and it didn't. Well, then, of course, since I had way bigger size, and once again, my cost basis was like up in this range here. It was under 231. Let me adjust that down a little bit. It was just under 231. It was like right here, I think. Something like that. It was very close to here. But then I had a line drawn out here and one drawn out for this area where it had tapped a couple times. And I told myself if it breaks below this line, you know, below that other line, which it wasn't. And then right before the open, it did. And I was like, watch, it's going to pop out of the open. And it didn't. And so we'll go back to the 1 minute. And I saw this candle, you know, and then this one kind of bought up for a minute, but I didn't let it go. And then, of course, it went down from there. And then on this little pop, I flattened out of the position and I lost more than I made on the last two trades on it. So like I had I bought it back this day pre-market and sold it this day pre-market, and then same thing, bought it the low day here and sold it on this pop. I want to say those combined were like 600-ish, a little over 600, and on this one I lost almost 600. So that just feels kind of shitty. But in hindsight, I need to kind of trust my gut a little more on stuff like this because, like I said, I did feel incredibly anxious with this position pre-market, and I think that in itself is kind of telling because whether or not I could like articulate it or not, the tape didn't feel right, the volume didn't feel right, and like I said, for a little bit I was green like almost $100. It was like $96 green pre-market, and I could have flattened right there. Although the bid-ask spread is so big on here, if I flatten, then I might get out break even. But break even is a lot better than losing $600. Secondly, because of that, I did something even more dumb, and I've been watching this Affirm, and you can see I have some price levels drawn out, and I was hoping for a nice bounce off this 50-day moving average here, and so I bought it. I think I bought, and I went in once again too big a size because I was already like anxious and not in the right state of mind from the last position. I bought it somewhere right in here, right between like the 9 and the 20-day here. And actually, what do we have here? Is this a 20-day? Let's check it out. There's a 10-day, and then this one. No, it's ribbon. So we have a 10-day. Where does it tell me? Why isn't it telling me how long it is? That's odd. Regardless, I bought it somewhere right in here, and then kind of knew I shouldn't have. And then on this big candle, I just flattened and said, fuck it, I'm done for the day, because that was already like double my daily kind of stop limit, more or less. Like if I lose X amount in a given day, I'm like, all right, I'm just done for the day because I'm not going to be in the right state of mind. But the worst part about both of these trades is pre-market, I was watching Plug over on my other monitor that I have over here. I was watching Plug and Lucid because both of them have had really good days the last while. And I saw how aggressively they both bounced after this like, here's Lucid, this big sell-off, and then it bounced. And yesterday I said to myself, hey, I should buy Lucid. But this is the same time at which I started buying Square and averaging down on Square. And then we see that if I would have had the size that I was planning on taking on this, which is somewhere between, these two lines that I've drawn out here, the two white dotted lines, in that range was going to be my entry. And clearly the trade would have worked nicely. I planned on getting approximately 600 shares, starting with 300 and then kind of adding another 300 into momentum or consolidation. And if we had that, let's say my cost average is 45. It probably would have been lower ideally, but just for shits and gigs, we'll say it's 45. Because that's in the middle of that range, kind of. Look, 600 shares, we'd be up 6, 12, 18, 24, 3,000, what is that, 3,400. Like, I doubt I would have let it still be running. I probably would have taken it off like here, or at least taken a portion off. But it's just like the setups that had high volume and I had more conviction in, I didn't take, and the setups that were less promising in high beta, high ATR stocks, which, as most know, high beta is more risk in a slower part of the market currently, didn't make sense. Like, in hindsight, absolutely terrible place. Since I took several months away from trading, and I'm back. This is like my third or fourth, right about a month of being back. And I think what happened is I'd only taken one or two really small losers so far since being back, so I was kind of getting like a little bit hubristic, and a little bit overconfident, which is, hubristic in a sense. And that overconfidence just led me to get into something that, I thought I was going to get like this high flyer, because the big ATR Stocks are nice because they can move a lot in a day, but I should, just like I started, I was trading names in plays like this in the EV sector and in the energy sector that are hot from the infrastructure bill, and I have much more conviction in them. And you can see on both of them, we would have been sitting pretty. We would have been feeling really good. But way she goes, I guess. You know, you're not always gonna have a great day or a great week. Yeah, so at least I didn't, lose anything more than I made this week. It just kind of makes it feel shitty because now it's like I treaded water all week. I didn't really get anywhere. After having several successful trades and then several that were shit. I don't think I talked about Trade Desk yet. I did have a good trade the other day on ticker TTD. So if we look at the 1 day, 1 year, we can see how extended it was. It was getting pretty far away from the 9 day moving average and all the other moving averages. So what I did is I watched it out of the open Wednesday, right? Yeah. And on this candle that failed to make a new high, so like this one made a high, and then on this one I entered short, and then this candle kind of got bought up for a minute and turned green momentarily. So I added here, and then I added a little here, so it was like 50%, 25%, 25% to bring me to my full size in the trade. And then I covered the next morning here. Now, I did disobey my sell rules a little because initially I had planned on... Let's go out here. Initially, I had planned on selling at the break of 105. But once again, I got a little bit impatient and I ended up selling more at like the break of 106. And the reason the break of 105 is because there was some consolidation kind of in this range from a few days earlier. So I made this order and literally set my a good till cancel sell order at like 105.99 or some shit like that, like just below 105. And then I just went to the gym. I didn't even watch the trade because I was pretty confident in it. But then the next morning I was watching it, and if you see, right in here, we started to get bought up again. So instead of like letting it kind of come back up and then drop all the way down to the break of 105, which didn't happen until like noon, I just took the trade off. Right, I believe towards the top of this green candle or this red candle. My arrow is kind of farther away than I usually have it, but regardless, I took the trade off, and it was solid. I got let's see, I think my cost average was like 111 something, 111 or 112. I really should write that down. I should put like a text box in here with my cost average, so when I'm reviewing these I know definitively. But yeah, so I took half size here and then half here and half here, so we had half at like 113. I'd assume that my cost basis was like 112, something right in there. And then we ended up covering at a little below 106, so we got like a little over 6 points, approximately 6 points on a couple hundred shares, so that was nice. But yeah, a little disappointed in the week, not paying attention to what I should be paying attention to, and you can't trade what you don't focus on, So I was focused on the wrong things, and the P&L shows it. The P&L reflects it. So I'm not going to take any more trades today. I'm going to see how everything kind of plays out. Friday, like I said, usually lower volume, and then probably tonight and probably Saturday and Sunday too, I'll open my Thinkorswim here and click through all my charts and make a game plan for next week. So yeah, hopefully I can redeem myself, and a few of these names don't take off too far without me. I'd like to see some consolidation on Lucid and in Plug. And there's still a few things that I'm interested in shorting too, so we'll see how it goes.